Thomas here with Much Props, going to give you another how-to video. Today I am trying to build one more thing before 2022 wraps up on me, which is literally like a day away from now. I am very strapped for time as I am just coming back from Christmas with my family and getting ready for New Year and a number of other honey-do list things that I have to accomplish by the end of my winter break before I have to go back to work. So I thought, let's try and make something relatively simple, like in a day. So that's templating and building and painting and finishing work all in one day. And I think I've figured out what I should do. I've had a lot of people suggesting that I make more Overwatch stuff, which I've made a couple of builds in the past. I think 2 builds from scratch and then 1 that I bought from PR Props. There may be more than that. I'll have to, future Thomas will look that up. But what I wanted to do was do something from Overwatch 2, which released in October. So I looked at all the characters and found Kiriko, who has this super cute little fox headband that she wears in the game, and I thought, I've never made a headband before, so let's do that. Today we are going to build Kiriko's fox headband from Overwatch 2 out of foam. Let's get to building. Free template in the description. I watch a couple of people here on YouTube that frequently play Overwatch, and I really like the character design of Kiriko. It's a nice mashup of traditional Japanese elements with a modern twist. I've never played Overwatch or Overwatch 2, but can definitely appreciate the art within it without playing the game itself. I find a front view and a side view and base my pattern off of that. I put some foil down on the dummy head, cover it with duct tape, make my marks, and cut it out. I use a blowtorch real quick to help shrink down the duct tape to make a more snug fit in areas and get rid of some wrinkles. By folding it over here, I can get a symmetrical pattern with only drawing one side. To figure out the darts, I just make a slit where there's a curve to help the pattern lay down flat. Once I have my duct tape pattern in order, I transfer that flimsy shape onto some poster board to make it easier to trace and easier for you all to see my template. I make sure to get all my necessary marks down, including the registration marks. Then I cut it out with a pair of scissors and mark up the edges. At this point, I do most of my labeling, including naming the part, making size guesses for what foam I'll use, angle cuts get highlighted, and any overlays or other details there may be get marked. I try my best to color code my stuff to make it easy to understand. For the ears, I just kinda eyeballed it. Normally, I would use foil and make the shape, but I used all the foil cooking Christmas dinner. I looked at my reference images, break it down into parts in my head, then cut out what I think it would look like as a flat piece of paper. I tape pieces together temporarily to help me figure out the remaining bits, and with a few adjustments, I get it pretty close. Of course, I won't know how it fits until I cut it out in the foam. Foreshadowing to when I have to make more adjustments later. Now with most of that figured out, I can start using my pattern to trace onto my foam. We are over 7 minutes into the build so far, and this is typically where most videos would start. I cut a lot of this stuff out, mostly because it's a bit repetitive and it eats up a lot of time in a video. I spent more time patterning than I did assembling and painting this build. Those are the hours of work that you don't see, plus more after the video in fixing parts of the template and preparing it to be digitized. Here I'm tracing my pattern onto some 6 and 4 millimeter EVA foam. Kiriko's mask has these little triangle indentations over the eyes, kind of like a fox has the fur pattern typically. I think they're recessed in from what I can see from the pictures. My main piece is 6mm and the smaller triangles are 4mm. I glue them into place with some barge contact cement, not a sponsor, and then proceed to heat form the headband over a round object with a heat gun. Lots of people have their own go-to objects for rounding foam. I like to use the glass dome that comes off my back porch light. This step will help form the foam closer to its final shape and limit the amount of pull on the seams in the curved areas on glue up. Time to close up the darts, those big V-shaped marks in the pattern that turn this flat piece of foam into a round shape to cover your forehead or 5-head depending on the gap from your eyebrows to your hairline. Once they are closed, I wanted to give the appearance of a thicker material. Yes, I could have just made the headband out of 10mm, but I didn't feel like it. That's my excuse. I cut some strips of 6mm and glue it on the inside. This will make it look thicker and actually help the piece keep its form a little better while also pulling those seams permanently closed on the border together. Figured I would include this in here so you could see more of the process. Yes, I make lots of mistakes and this is one of them. When I drew my earpieces at the beginning, I didn't account for how the edges would align with each other and the main body. So I'm going back and marking inward 45-degree angle cuts, which I'm just going to sand back instead of cut them out. I also took off a chunk of the sides of the ear to make them stand a little bit more up. I'll probably take a little bit more off the final template to help your ear stand up better than mine, because mine ended up a tad bit too low. Kind of makes it look like I have a sad fox. When assembling the ears, make sure to note a couple of things here. There is a channel on the front piece that will make the nice ridge down the middle. Also note that I am offsetting the front from the sides. I'm allowing for about 2 millimeters from the edge of the front piece to the sides. Once all attached, I round over all the edges except for the bottom that will be attached to the headband. Hopefully that makes sense. When making your own templates, try to think about the details that go over the top of things. I knew that the ears would be off to the side, so I can hide one of those seam lines with this part. Once I'm happy with the position of the ear, I mark it, put contact cement on both pieces, and use those random markings here and there to help me figure out where it goes on the other side. I'll try and mark this on the template so it makes it even easier for you. You just have to transfer the line. There is a small silver rivet on each side of the mask to make a pretend attachment to the strapping. I am just going to extend my sanding drum out further than its holder and bore in a faux rivet of my own in the foam. You could also use a piece of a dowel, glue on googly eyes, or glue in real rivets. Whatever your rivet making favorite is, go for it. To me, this was the simplest solution. Of course, in Texas fashion, it was in the low teens today when I was recording the video, so I'm gonna use Mod Podge. Tomorrow, it'll of course be in the 70s. I'll be so glad when winter is over. I laid down about 4 coats in total using my heat gun turned way down low to speed up the dry time. This will seal the foam and fill in any small gaps in my seams. Not that my foam is super dark, but I decided to put down a base layer of white acrylic paint over everything first. This will cover my triangle recesses in the front of my ears and means less coats of the red I will be using later for the rest of it. I was trying to do this very quickly and globbed on a little bit too much in some spots and then got impatient when it was drying and touched it and made some unwanted textures. So take your time and understand that the first coat is going to look like garbage when you're painting over Mod Podge. After 3 layers of white, I'm ready to put some color on my fox. I chose just a basic red for this headband, not really trying to match it exactly with the game. Believe it or not, I decided to not dirty it up at all. I just wanted to let you know that I'm fine. No need to worry about my prop making well-being. Sometimes you just want things to look new. After painting the base, I thought it looked kind of cute, so I didn't want to dirty it up. So here you go, a brand new prop. Doesn't happen very often. The symbol on Kiriko's forehead is actually a stylized kanji rotated 45 degrees. It is the kanji kitsune. I'm sure I mispronounced that. Sorry, I don't speak Japanese. This means fox in Japanese. I'm gonna use some acrylic paint pens to help make things a little easier on myself. I put a dot on the end of each point to help frame out the starting and stopping points. These are Posca pens, which are made in Japan, which seemed fitting since the headband is for a Japanese character for the game. After I was done painting, I covered it in another 3 layers of Mod Podge. Last is strapping. Normally I use elastic banding for my straps, but the design looks a lot thicker than what I have on hand, so I went rummaging through my random bits bin and found this hook and loop strapping. I think it came with a blanket we bought a while back. I'm gonna repurpose it as this headband strap. I cut off the metal clasp end and glued it to one side, then cut off the end with the hooks to go on the other. By making this a long strap, it can fit different sized heads. Mine's 24 inches around at the forehead, so you may want to scale the pattern down if you don't have a ginormous head like myself. And we are finished. Here is the end result. Overall, not too difficult of a build. Something that literally took me just a couple of hours to not only template out, but build, paint, and finish. I found this Velcro stuff in my scrap bin of random stuff. I don't know what it was for. I think maybe like a blanket packaging or something, but I kept it and now it's gonna forever live as the headband strap for this. But yeah, maybe you'll try and make one of these yourselves and impress your friends with your ability to pull something from a video game, slap it into the real world, and look adorable in the process. It couldn't hurt. Maybe you'll get some. Yay! And inevitably, they're gonna ask you, how'd you make that? You can give them one of these. Tell them, much props. I'm gonna let you put it on because I don't know. Yeah, I think you'd like it more. So bend down. All right. There you go. Nope, not over the eyes. Peace out. If you enjoy what I do here on YouTube and would like to see more builds like this one, please consider joining these awesome people listed here with me over on my Patreon to build a bigger, better, more creative community together.